Hello, this is iPav here. I'm here to talk about the Teemo trap placements and warding placements and some tips about the Teemo. I'm gonna make it really short. So let's go with make myself level 6 and do that and do that. Okay, right. So there are about 6 different places that I almost all the time use it. Every games that I play top.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
These are it. So how do I use these traps? Well, first 4 traps, how I use it. Let's say I'm on the red side. I'm on the top side as a Teemo, and I'm gonna chase this dude. I can win the chase, and I know that this guy's gonna run away from me. If I just chase this dude from the center of the lane and just straight up chasing him, the route of this guy's running place is like this, right? Obviously he's gonna run straight up to his turret as quick as possible while avoiding as many shots as possible from me. Well, how about if we chase it indifferently? Instead of a center, let's chase him from the riverside. So like this. Then how is he gonna run? He could still run this way too, but most of the players tends to avoid the Teemo shots first before they decided to run straight up the turret. So how they run is like this. Kinda like that. And then there's a high chance that they will get hit by this trap, or they can even go inside a bush. Let me place a trap. Wars here. Okay. And they will run like this too. So that's how I use this trap. As they are running, they will get hit by the trap and you can chase him down quicker. Or even this trap, pretty much the same example. All you gotta do is chase him from the top side, then he's gonna run towards your trap and get hit by it. So that's how I use these 2 traps. Same thing applies on these 2 also. If you run from the riverside, then he will run diagonally like this. Or if you run from the top side, then he will run like that. Get hit by it. So that's how I use it. And now these 2, I usually place it as soon as possible for these 2. Against enemy junglers, I use it often. Because the Teemo tends to get ganked quite often. Well, based on my opinion. It's kind of easy to gank. So yeah, let's say if I'm standing on this spot, as a blue side or red side, whatever it is, let's say I'm pushing in, then the jungler can gank using this route. Or also there was a trap right here, right? And then I can run this way, and then jungler is gonna still chase me, and then I can just keep run this way. And I also sometimes place a trap here too, and then he's gonna get hit by this trap. And you can just run kind of like a circle like this. That's an example. Or if I'm placing myself here, then the jungler will either get like this or use this route. So these 2 traps are very useful against enemy junglers. Also, it's quite useful against the laners too. Let's say if a laner is standing here and he wants to engage on me, then all I gotta do is run this way, then they will get hit by the trap, and then the next one, pretty much the same one, and vice versa on the other side. So that's how I use those 6 traps. Use it the most often. And now the warding tips. Oh well, actually before the warding tips, let me just show you guys something that a lot of people don't really use it. It's called a target the champion only button. It's in the hotkey. You go to the ability and summon spells, and there is a key called the target the champion only button. For me, it's set it as a tab, but a lot of people will be set it as that button. That button is a button that is above the tab on your keyboard, or right on the left side from your number 1 button. But for me, I just swapped those 2, so that's my scoreboard actually. Yep. So how I use it is that, let's say if enemy is standing right behind the turret, sometimes that you will find yourself you're hitting a turret instead of an enemy, right? When you're diving in. Well, if you press that the target the champion only button, you can't, no matter how many times that you press the turret, you cannot hit the turret. you will only be able to hit the target. The target. Yeah. Same goes for against the minions or even camps. Let's say if enemy is sitting right there, and then no matter how many times that I'm hitting these birdies, I'm just going towards to it. I'm not hitting them, but I can only hit the target. I cannot hit this big one too. I want to hit the big one, but I can't if I'm pressing that target the champion only button. A lot of professional players and some serious gamers do use it, but casual gamers don't really use it that often. So that's the target the champion only button. You can also use it with your Q, by the way. Yeah. So target the champion button, and then I'm pressing the Q. It's not going in, but onto the champion, it does. So you don't get to blind the minion or the camp. Pretty useful, right? Okay, now let's go to the warding tips. Oh, before that, I gotta also remind that. You see, I can also smart cast a trap too, kind of like this. But whenever I'm placing these important spots, I tend to not use a smart cast. Especially this one. You see, if I place it right on this spot, no matter how well enemy tries to go over the wall, they will get hit by it. But let's say I'm not using it. I'm just gonna throw it around here, because iPav said, just place a trap around here. Then they will be able to go over in between the traps and the wall location. So that's why I really highly recommend using the non-smart cast for placing these two spots for sure. Yeah, or sometimes I also see this too. Even the good Teemo players tends to place like this too. It's so inefficient because as you see the hitbox, you're basically not using the half of the hitbox of the trap, right? So with one trap, you could cover all this spot, at least like what, one or two Teemo spot, right? But placing like this is, yeah, not good, I think. So that's why not all the times when I'm in the fight, I also use a smart cast like this when I'm in the fight. But if I'm not in the fight, I tend to use it more using non-smart cast for these. All right, so here's the warding tips now. Finally, so you only want to stand on this spot, spacebar. Oh, by the way, I do it on a fixed offset. I don't think it matters that much, but spacebar after standing on these two leaves, warding on right there. That leaf, that pointy leaf, and then it will get placed in this bush. And it may not, you may think that it's not covering the entire bush, but it does, as you see. Yeah. Another one is if you place the ward on this big egg out of these three, then it gets into the bush. What's the difference between this and just placing in the bush is that, so this is my spot, right? I'm gonna press it on here. So the distance between here and there, now this is kind of big, by the way, because when enemy is sitting here, let's say Olaf, Lee Sin, Elise, whoever, they can see you placing the ward this spot from here to there, but they cannot see you on this one. So that's why it's big. So once again, it's on that big egg right there. Then it will be placing the ward inside the bush. Yep, so that's a top lane warding tips. And here's some stuff that you don't have to learn as the top laner. Let's place the wards here. So on this crack spot, you want to stand on this spot, space bar, and then boom, there's a trap bush from the Baron pit. And there's another crack spot. You want to stand on the spot, space bar. Now this one is a little bit tricky. If you place the ward inside a bush, then it shows you a green outline on the pointer. If it's outside a bush, there's no green outline. If it's inside a wall, it's a red outline. All right. So green for the bush, red for the wall, and there's no outline for just out of there. So now what it is that you want to place it when it turns onto the no green outline. So right there. then it's inside a bush. From the Baron to the red bush. Alright? And same thing on here. You just gotta know the place, that wall edge right there. You must place yourself right there. And then, boom. You can see it. And then, pretty much the same spot right there, river. And you wanna place, there's a snail on top of the rock. This rock, if you see closely, that right there, you wanna click that, always spacebar. And try bush. And this one is the hardest one. I still don't really get it, and I almost never use it. But you see the mark on the river? Place yourself right there. And then what it is that you see that little two things. I don't know what it calls. Is it little circle rocks? You want to place your ward on in between that. And what it does is, as you see, you're placing the Tribush ward from here. I know this one is the hardest one to use. I really never use it in the game, but as a support main, I guess that's useful. So that's Wardings, Shrooms, and target the champion only button tips. And thanks for watching. Hopefully this was useful. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.